Another episode of JK Philly. Welcome back. Just wanted to jump on here real quick just to talk about the state of the Sixers, man. Obviously, nobody cares about the Sixers. Nobody wants to talk about the Sixers. But we just need to say our piece with what's going on. I'm on Instagram. I'm on our social media pages for JK Philly and everything like that. And I feel bad at a point because it's like we're Philadelphia branded sports media page. We want to talk about Philadelphia sports. Spring training just started for the Phillies, and the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. And we don't really talk about the Flyers, but what else is there really to talk about? Oh yeah, the Sixers that are ending the stretch in their NBA season. The only thing that we're able to really talk about with them is, hey, we're finally right now, or at least today of recording 226, the bottom 6 teams in the league. So hopefully we're able to keep our pick. That's like our excitement for the year of what we're doing. But really why I'm making this video is because I'm getting to the point of like, why am I hearing Paul George's voice now? Like, we just finished All-Star break. We're coming back. Why is Paul George talking at this point? I don't want to hear from Paul George. I don't like Paul George. I don't want to hear his voice right now. Paul George, you're pissing me off because what are you talking about? I'm hearing we get blown out the other night by a Chicago Bulls team that obviously doesn't have DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, and Kobe White cuts his finger or something and doesn't play majority of like the third quarter, whatever quarter that was. We look like we have absolutely no idea what we're doing. And granted, if we're talking about all this and it's like, hey, you lost by that much because the Sixers are trying to lose. That's the case. That's the case. I'll shut up about it. But don't give me the narrative in the post game from Paul George saying, oh, yeah, we don't look like we're going to make any type of moves this season. We don't have any playoff aspirations. We're not going to get there. Just completely whatevering on the team and just not showing any type of hope for us, which we don't have any, and I understand, but you're not the one that's supposed to be saying that. You might think you are because we just signed you to some big contract, but like you're new here. We don't want to hear from you, especially from the output that you've been doing. And just speaking on output and everything that you've been doing with us for the season, like you're putting up numbers like this. You're supposed to be, everybody healthy, our third option. Right now, you're really like our glorified second option, if not supposed to be our first option ahead of Maxey. Obviously, with your age, you can ask whoever, but like this is ridiculous. These numbers are horrendous. You can't be averaging these numbers playing this year. Like if you're hurt, say you're hurt, and this is your excuse for these numbers. But this is disgusting. You haven't had a 20-point game. I was just looking at it the other night, like January 20 something, like a 20-point game. You just had 19 last night when we got blown out by 30. Like literally, you're averaging the same numbers as Tobias Harris, who we just got rid of. And to keep it fair to Tobias Harris, I don't know why I can't scroll over, but his point production and what he's doing in, every other category is looking a lot better than you, regardless, hurt or not. You guys are literally playing like the same people. We might as well have just kept Tobias Harris, signed him on some whatever type contract, and just rocked with him at this point because he's flourishing over in Detroit right now. But just to go to those points of seeing what we're talking about, you're in the post game. You're talking. I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'll just let it speak for itself at this point.
You want to put on it?
I mean, it's all of it. We, regardless of who's playing, who's not playing, to have admirations or for this group to believe that we can be, not even, to get to the playoffs, but make a push towards it. I mean, we've shown no sign of a team that will compete, and
we show no signs of a team that will compete. Are you not one of those main reasons? Are you not one of the stars on the basketball team? Like, I was literally just listening to Gilbert Arenas' podcast the other day, and I think it was Rashad McCants or somebody was talking about it and was like, Embiid's out. Embiid's got to be the one that's, like when he does come and you guys lose a game or, whatever it is, he's got to take the accountability because he's the head honcho on the team. But if he's hurt, like he's been hurt throughout the entire season, somebody's got to step up. You keep asking Maxey, hey man, what are you guys expecting throughout the team? And Maxey keeps giving you the answer that he's supposed to give. Hey, I just try to come in with a smile every day and keep my guys motivated. But nobody's looking at Maxey, at least what it seems like from an outside view, as like, oh yeah, that's our guy. That's who we're following right now. It's still Embiid. So the people that are around Embiid are acting like Embiid and acting like your next guy, Paul George, who is showing you that, hey, we're not going to do anything with this team this year. We can be the press. We can be defeated. It's not, you're showing no type of accountability for the team as one of the stars that we're paying a lot on this team, if not almost the most on this team. And it's just no type of accountability being taken. It's just like, hey, I can do better. I'm supposed to lead this team right now while Joel's out, blah, blah, blah type thing. It's none of that. It's, oh, we don't have any chance to compete. But you're putting up numbers like this throughout the season talking about, oh, yeah, we don't look like a team that compete. You can't compete. Maxey's putting up 40 points talking about, oh, yeah, I just try to come in with a smile, keep my guys energized. You're the one that's ass. Like, what is this? Really, what is this? Because what takes me over it is why and why I'm making this video is because I see videos like this where you're coming out and this, I don't even know when this was brought. I think it was today, if not yesterday. It doesn't matter. 226, 225. You're making videos like this right after the All-Star game, and you're now making that decision to step away from your podcast?
Fellas, it's no secret. This season is up to this point, man. It hasn't been what we envisioned. I know my goal when I first signed with Philadelphia was to bring a championship to these amazing fans here. I still remain positive about that, and that is still the case and where I'm coming from. With that being
just the pause. I'm looking at his eyes when he's saying it looks like he's looking off a screen like he's reading something. That might just be me. This doesn't seem genuine at all. Like he has no emotion trying to say this. It doesn't come with any type of sincerity or, like I'm pissed off, like I gotta step away from the podcast now. It just doesn't look like that at all. I don't know what this is, but that's just my little tidbit.
being said, though, I want to let the Podcast P family know that after today's episode with Dwight, I plan to take a break from the pod just to focus on getting my body right, getting mentally right, and, help this squad make a push towards our goal to finish the season out.
Like, none of it makes any sense to me of why are you talking like this now? It's like, oh, I came off kind of harsh in that post-game interview with the Bulls the other day. Let me come online. Let me make amends to that. Let me really try to take a pause on it. And he even goes on in this video to say I'm doing it to get my body and mind right, but also at the same time I really just want to record with my guys back in LA. I want to record in person. Like nobody cares about that. It's so frustrating to pay somebody this much money to be this bad, to know that you're this bad as, on superstar status. Like obviously that's good numbers for anybody that's coming on in terms of a role player. Like if Yabu Sele's adding that, if Kelly Oubre's adding that, if Justin Edwards, anybody on the team is adding that, those are great numbers, but those aren't the numbers that you're supposed to be showing when Joel Embiid is just out. It's just ridiculous to hear. I don't want to hear that on February 26th, right after the All-Star game when we get blown out by 30 our first game. Why didn't you say that when we were, 2-17 in the beginning of the season? What are you talking about now? You could have continued doing the podcast. We was already mad at you for doing the podcast in November and December when we're losing games back to back to back. Regardless if you're hurt or not, you're saying I got to step away to work on my body and work on my mind. You could have done that when you were rehabbing. and you hyperextended your knee. I don't know. I don't know where this guy's mindset's at. I don't know what he really thinks if he wants to be in Philly. And I don't know if I'm the guy that's like, nah, Just, you're tripping. Like, Paul George is, a superstar. He's having a slow start coming into the Sixers franchise, whatever. Like, if that's the case, then that's the case, and I'm tripping. But I don't think I'm tripping on something like this. It's ridiculous. I'm really tired of Paul George, and I'm really tired that we got to deal with him for the next 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. That's that part, and that's the majority part of what the issue is. Then you got to jump over to the next part, talking about Joel Embiid. It's not Embiid making that decision, I don't think, but it seems like it's Daryl Morey and upper management, maybe even Nick Nurse to a degree, but just, hey, we're going to continue playing Joel Embiid because, we're right at that spot where we can get into the playing game. But for what? When you have stories like this, if this is true or not, I would assume it's true from, how he looked in that last game, whenever it was, where he just looked like a completely different person. He's got to get surgery, man. And it's not just regular surgery. You got to do all this crap about we got to require doctors to break a bone in his hip to realign the joint. If I'm Joel Embiid and I'm, I don't know how old he is, 29, 30 something, 28, whatever he is, do I want to break a bone in my hip to get better, to heal, to come back, alleviate pain, so I can come back and play basketball for the possibility of making a push to get a championship? I don't know. That's a big ask. Like, you're asking more than just Joel to, like, oh yeah, just go get surgery. Like, it's not just surgery. Like, that's a big surgery. You're talking about breaking bones inside his body with an extended amount of healing time than anything else that he's probably ever experienced in his life. Seems like he's going to have to get it regardless if he wants to just be a person at the end of the day. But, like, this is ridiculous. I've been on other people's shows talking about Joel Embiid, been on our own show talking about Joel Embiid. I would not be surprised if Joel's just like, you know what? I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting that surgery. Or, whatever he does, and he just decides not to play for his last however many years. I could see that being a possibility because he just wants to retire. Like, that, it's crazy. It's crazy that it's gotten to this point. Like, the process, if you thought it ended, or if you thought it wasn't over yet, like, the process is 100% over. You got to restart, man. You just wasted. We're wasting money on Paul George. Thankfully, we got, Jarrett McCain, who can hopefully be a good asset for us, if not a good tradable piece down the line for us. And hopefully, we continue tanking this season so we can get a good pick that hopefully turns out into something for us. But yeah, we gotta redo some things that we've been looking at for these past few seasons, and I need Daryl Morey to get out of there. Like, I need all upper management to get out of there. I don't think they're handling the situation well. It is the end of February, going into March, and you have not made that decision to just sit Joel Embiid for the rest of the season. It's crazy, man. So I'm adding this part that I'm about to record into whatever part of the video. This is way after I recorded the first part. The Knicks game against the Sixers just ended. They just lost their 9th game in a row. Lost by 5, man. I don't, like I said, it's fine because we're trying to tank for, I'm just looking up here. Detroit just beat Boston. That's crazy. I'm just trying to say, I understand we're trying to tank for these games, right? Or for this pick or whatever. So what I'm just trying to understand is Maxey just scored and they cut it to like a 4 or 5 point game or something like that. No, they cut it to a 3 point game, I think. And they get the ball, they pass the ball in the Knicks, and they advance it past half court. Then they set up their stack on like the opposite side of the ball, and Paul George is at the front of it, and he's just like in la la land, just looking around, and OG just cuts through the front, give him the ball, and he just scores it with however many seconds left on the clock. Like, but that's big. We just cut a 5 point lead to a 3 point lead, and they have ball, and we have an opportunity to, contain them right there. And Paul George just is in who knows what's going on. But as I'm looking at this box score, this is just still ridiculous, and why I feel the urge to come back to start recording again is because one thing, Paul George, congratulations for getting past 20 points in over a month. You got 25 tonight, but let's not forget that you still had 7 turnovers this game. You can kind of balance it out with your 4 steals, but you still had 3 turnovers, but you had 7 turnovers. And from what it just looked like on the defensive end, that's not going to come up in the statistics. It looked like you were a little bit absent-minded to some of these performances as well. Another thing that I have to add as well is Tyrese Maxey. In the game against the Bulls, too, I didn't talk about it. Your fingers hurt, bro. Why are you playing? The announcers on NBC Philly or whatever it was on, it sounded like the Philly reporters, like they're openly talking about Maxey not wanting to shoot 3-pointers. And if it's that evident that you don't want to shoot 3-pointers, you went 0 for 10 because your finger is injured. And then you're giving up and not shooting 3-pointers because your finger is injured. What are we doing? Why are you playing the game? Why are you risking, oh, we can make a push, man. We're right there below playing territory. Like, what are we doing? You're 0 for 10, and you got a 30-point game. Congratulations on 32 shots. Like, we're not talking about, oh, yeah, Maxey's like a guy that's going to bring the smile every day. Like, what are you doing? We're looking at you crazy. This has been all season. Just get into the basket, missing a bunch of layups. You're like, oh, my fingers hurt. Why are you playing in the first place? Kelly Oubre was the most proficient person that we had all night. 9 for 14 from the field and 4 for 6 from 3. He missed a big free throw that could have helped us, but still, like, what are we doing? 0 for 10 on 3 points, 12 for 32 on field goal percentages, and you played for 45 minutes. I don't know, man. I get it's a close game. That's why you're playing them a lot. Your fingers hurt, so you're giving up 3-point attempts. They're like, oh, Maxey doesn't want to shoot that 3 because you can definitely tell it's from his finger. Okay, you don't think Jalen Brunson can realize that? When he's shooting 0 for 10 and missing wide open layups, he's beating every single person. They call for a switch on Jalen Brunson. He rips it to the basket, 1-2, misses his layup. Adem Bona might be down there to clean it up. Like, it's just ugly, man. Like, it's an ugly brand of basketball that we're playing. You guys can make it a little bit more evident that you want to lose these games instead of getting us to points like this where we're at 105, 110 at the end of the game and just like, oh yeah, we put in Jared Butler towards the end, and the bench players were able to make a push and they got to this. Not keeping our star guys in for 42 and 44 minutes to lose by 5 points, and Paul George is looking like he has no idea what he's doing in the last 30 seconds. Congratulations to him for having a good game, at least from, overall standpoint, 8 rebounds and 7 assists with 4 steals, but he still had 7 turnovers. Like, there's always going to be something to talk about with you. You can't just, like, even if you had 1 or 2, I wouldn't even say anything if it was 1 or 2. You almost went 50% from the field. You had a good game. I don't know. It's ridiculous. like I said, I'm adding this way towards the end of the video. I just watched the whole game after, and I just know I needed to talk about it because Maxey being hurt, on top of me just complaining about Paul George playing hurt and Embiid playing hurt. Like, what are you following? What are you following those steps for? Because, man, I'm the one that's producing 30, 40 points a night, and I gotta be out there. No, you don't gotta be out there. You know we're trying to tank. Like, that's telling me that the front office is like not trying to push that narrative. They're not trying to say, "Hey, we're not looking to tank." You know, maybe it's not. You know, maybe it's a hush hush type thing, but some of them just aren't going for it. But it just shows me that their main objective is to still try to make a push, just from that type of game, just from that type of energy that they're showing on the floor. It's great. It's great if that's how we're actually trying to play. But at the same time, if y'all just want to lose that game, then just lose that game. Like, don't waste Maxey's time making him go over 10. And, you know, even Paul George even having a good game. Don't put him in there towards the end of the game. Just take them out at that point. They made a comeback, so I understand keeping them in that scenario. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, man, that's all I really have to talk about. I've been saying the season was over. I've been gave up on the team. I really tried to hold out for Paul George, and I like all the picks that we got. You know, the pieces that we got. We haven't really talked about it in depth of Quentin Grimes and Jared Butler and even David Roddy to an extent. Like those guys, they seem solid for the team. Quentin Grimes has been really good for us, but I don't want to do anything else with this team. You just gotta do it. You gotta shut him down. You gotta get him that surgery if that's what he chooses to do. But you can't keep playing him. There's literally no point to keep playing him. Like, every single person is talking about why the hell is Joel Embiid still playing. We've been saying this since November. I don't care about the triple doubles that he gets when he gets back. I don't care about the 25 plus point games he gets when he comes back. I don't care about any of it. Please sit down and go get surgery. You already effed up by going to get a gold medal. Thanks for that. Don't really care. I care about the Sixers. I don't care about the USA and the Olympics. If you do, you're a weirdo. If you do and you're a Sixers fan, you're a weirdo. But other than that, I appreciate y'all watching. Like I said, we will definitely try to keep the spirits high with the Sixers team and all the Philadelphia sports teams, but it's rough. It's rough with the Sixers, as you know. And I know people don't really care listen about, hey, what are we going to do with Embiid and Paul George? I get it. You can only talk about it for so much for people stop caring overall. But let's get ready for this baseball season for the Phillies. Definitely come back soon and make a video about when their season starts. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Comment how you feel about the Paul George situation. I really want to confirm or deny that I'm crazy or not. But other than that, hope y'all have a good rest of y'all night. Talk to y'all.